Hello everyone, this is Lena Kears from Inspired Creations. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'd like to show you how to make this step card. So when you open it up, it looks like this, and it will of course stand very nicely. So we're going to talk about what it takes to make this card, and I've got a diagram here that you can take a screenshot of. Maybe if I put it this way, you'll be sure to get the whole thing. This is not done according, like the measurements don't make sense. You have to go by what I wrote down here, okay? Because if I made it 11 inches, it would just be so big. But the card base is 11 inches long, and it's 4 1/4 inches wide, okay? And then we've got some pieces here. I'm just going to check my written instructions here. This is 2 5/8 by 4 3/8. And this is the middle part here, the background, then the designer paper. And of course, you can use any part of this designer paper that strikes your fancy. I paired this with Pacific Blue, just Pacific Point, because I thought that was a nice combination. So the designer piece is 2 1/2 by 4 1/4 this way. Then these side pieces are, you need 2 of these. So this is 7/8 by 4 1/8. No, that's wrong. That's the bottom. That's this piece here. This is 7/8 by 4 1/8. Yes. Okay, so the top part, or the side pieces, are 5/8 inch wide by 4 3/8. So you need 2 of those for the sides, and then the designer paper is a 1/2 inch wide by 4 1/4 inch long, this way. Okay, so those are your pieces, and then this one will be embossed with white, and it'll fit at the bottom. Okay, so that's what we're working towards. But first we need to cut the base. This gluing all the pieces together is the easy part. So we'll set that aside for now, and we'll bring in my cutter. And I have to make this work so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so along this 11-inch side, I want to go in 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to take my cutting blade, and I'm going to start at 6 1/2 inches, which is right. You can see that measurement right here, and I don't know if you can see what when I get to the bottom, but I'm cutting down to 1 inch, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So 3/4 inch, go to 6 1/2 inches, push the blade down. Oh, it's not quite exactly straight. Try that again. And I bring it down to 1 inch and stop. Okay. So now we're going to score. Get rid of we don't need to cut anything else, so we'll push that one up. We're going to score from the 1 inch mark from here to the edge. And again, you've got this line in the center here that lines up with your cutting line. And then you do it on this side as well. And then we're going to turn it around because we need to go to 2 inches. So line this up at 2 inches and match this up with your cut line and score there to the edge. Lift it up and push down again and score to the edge. Okay, so we're not scoring all the way across, just these 2 little pieces at the edge. Now we're going to 6.5, so I'll bring the arm out. And put that line at 6.5. And right at the top here where we finished cutting, we're going to score across to that edge. And I'm doing the exact same thing on the other side in case it doesn't show up on the video. So I've scored from the cut to the edge, from the cut to the edge, 3 times here, 1 inch, 2 inch, and 6.5. Now, at 5.5 inches, we want to score just between the cuts. So again, line this up with the cut and score to the next cut. Okay, so can you see that? And that's all that we need to do. That's how we make the step. Now, let's see if we can do this folding. So we're going to push this in and this out. So we don't want to fold across the middle part here, but we do want to fold up here. So you kind of have to fold them all a little bit to get things going. And then you've got your step card. And now we're just going to take the bone folder and burnish this and make sure everything is laying flat. And so this is what we have. Okay, score, 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 and then these 2 cuts. And that's all it takes. The rest is easy. Okay, so let's take all our pieces now. And maybe before we start, we should just heat emboss this one here. I want to put on Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas. And I have that stamp set sitting right here. I need my buddy and my Versamark. Just wipe this to get away anything that might stick to it that you don't want to stick. My Versamark pad is very well used, but it's working just fine. Okay, kind of just center this. Press down. It's just leaves kind of a watermark, so it's not so easy to see. But once you put the white powder on, it will be very easy to see. Got a few little flecks there that I don't want, so I'll just use my brush. Of course, it's all about snowflakes, so whatever flecks there are, they'll just be considered to be snowflakes. There we go. Put this away. Now, I will heat it right where you can see, because if this is your first time seeing heat embossing, you'll want to know how it works. So you can see that it's white, but it's not shiny white. And when we heat it, we're going to see how it changes. It will just suddenly become shiny white because the heat is melting the embossing powder. Hold it about 1 inch above your paper. Keep it moving a little bit. Let's see, it's already starting to turn white there. Once it's all white, you stop. Because if you don't stop, you're going to overheat it, and then it becomes dull. And that's not as pleasing to the eye. Okay, so now we can just put this all together. Just let that cool down for a minute, and we'll put these pieces together. In case you haven't seen this designer series paper, it's a very pretty paper. There's so many choices in there, and I can show you some of it, but a lot of mine is cut up already. But I can show you what I have left. So, oh, this is not one of them. Okay, so this is, oh no, I used this on a different card I made. Okay, so that's the two sides of that. This is the two sides of another one. We've got this one, and that's the same one. This is the one we're using today. And then I've got a couple of full sheets. There's that one. That's very pretty too, with the heather in there. And I've still got a few full sheets, so we're good. Okay, I've made quite a few cards already using this paper, and it's fun to work with. Okay, these pieces here, they're very skinny. Just get some of this lovely seal adhesive on here. Works like a charm. And leaving just a little blue edge all the way around. Then we'll put some more adhesive on. It's like with most things, if you have a good plan for how to do it, then it's not difficult. So we're going to stick that down. We're sticking it right down to the fold here. Likes to stick. It's a good adhesive. Just make sure that you're staying within the confines of these side edges. This one is not quite straight. Come on. There we go. Okay, and then this one here, we'll just go at the bottom. Oh, I think this one is pretty much finished. And I thought I had a different one, but oh, I do. I just have to take this one out. Put the new one in. Right here. There we go. Get started. And there's that. Now we have some pretty snowflakes to put on and some of these little snowflake embellishments to put on. So I'll bring in my silicone mat here, and we're just going to use some liquid glue here and my little sponge. Now the trick is not to move these around too much once you're dabbing them with glue, because then they'll be laying in the glue instead of the glue being around it. Okay, now which is this one? We'll put this one down here. No, this is the one I had at the top. There we go. Put that one in the center. And then I'll pick up some other glue here. And we'll put this right here. Have a little bit of the petal going into the blue space there, just because it looks pretty. And it's as easy as that. Now if I let this dry, and then I'm just going to go like this, and this will all just roll right off. But it should be dry first. Okay, now inside, I stamped the really big snowflake. And these words do not come with the set. You can, of course, use the words that do come with the set, but I've used them several times already, and I wanted to say something different. So this is from one of last year's sets that is called More Merry Messages. So we'll use them. This is the Pacific Blue, and there is the Snowflake. Now you can do it full strength, or you could stamp it off. Why did I stamp it off this time? Just so you can see the difference. Bring in my scrap paper here. So that takes a lot of the darkness away. So that gives it a different look again as compared to this one. And I do want my words to be dark. May your holidays be wrapped in happiness and trimmed with the love of family and friends. Or any other words that you would like to use as a greeting. Okay, we still need to put in some of these. And there are two colors, I should say. So you've got the yellows and pinks there, and you've got the greens and blues here. So whichever ones you prefer, maybe because of the pinky stuff in there, I will just use a few of the pink ones this time. There we go. And I kind of like things symmetrical sometimes. Oh, I think the sticky side needs to be going down. I like to do a little escape thing here. These pick up the colors that are around them. They're very cute, and they're self-adhesive, which is nice. So there you have it. Isn't that a pretty card? Snowflake wishes for a Merry Christmas, and there's your inside. And as you saw me do it, it was not very difficult, especially if you're using your Stampin' Up! Cutter. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoy this. And if you don't have a demonstrator yet, and you'd be interested in having me be your demonstrator, here's all my information. This is my Facebook page. I post on Facebook usually 3 times a week. This is my store on the Stampin' Up! Website, and this is my November host code. So if you go here and you want to place an order, please use the host code for the month so that it benefits me as well. Okay, and that's it for today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.